All right, it's Wednesday. We're live. It's 6:16 p.m. Time for Attack of the Androids. That's right. Very exciting. All sorts of Android stuff to discuss with these fellers. Gonna inform you on all the ridiculous, overhyped news. The phone OS of your choice.
For centuries, we've been warned about little green men.
Now, they're coming. They're coming for you. Prepare for the attack of the Android.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Wednesday, September 2nd, 2015. This is episode 168 of Attack of the Androids every week. Wednesday evenings right here at attackoftheandroids.com. Check it out. I'm Matt. That's Eric. What's up, Eric?
Not much, Matt. I'm just overjoyed to be spending my Wednesday evening / Thursday morning with you and Nick.
I know. That's why you keep coming back. It's a glutton
That's right.
for punishment. Also, Nick, what's happening, Nick?
Hey guys, glad to be back.
Glad to have you back, because if not, it would be just me and Eric, and that would look silly. So it's
It gets a little weird.
good that you are back with us. What should we start out with? All sorts of Moto X stuff, some Lenovo stuff. Are we still cool with Lenovo? Like, I have a Lenovo, and I don't think it has any of those like weird BIOS malware things. You know, that alleged, what was it called? Bad fish, stale fish.
Superfish, something like that. Yeah, they seem to have toned down with that. So, yeah.
But I mean, this is an older one. Maybe I should check. I'm running Windows 10 now on it though, so I don't think it matters.
Yeah, Windows 10 has its own host of problems. So,
I've turned most of them off, which is pretty sweet.
yeah, on the aside, if you go to the Tech Syndicate website or you go to their YouTube channel, they've got a good 10-minute video going about all the things you can turn off in Windows 10 to minimize, the Microsoft or whatever, spying on you or whatever. So
The one thing I did turn on, and I think is kind of cool, is the Twitter app and the Facebook app, because then there's a little like notification thing down here, and it lets you know what's going on. And they're actually a very nice interface and user experience on this, because it is kind of a touch screen, even though I hardly ever touch it. But using those Windows 10 apps make me want to touch it more. So that's good.
That is good.
Eric,
I
what
love it when things make me want to touch it.
What would you touch more if you had it? A Moto X Pure? Perhaps the Force? How many Moto X's are we gonna have?
all of them.
This is where I'm starting to have a problem with Motorola, because before, I mean, so we have a few eras. There's like the pre-Google era, where it's the Droid X, the Droid Razr, the Droid Max, etc. Like, there's just so many versions of the Motorola products, and then Google.
Out that way though, like the OG Droid, they had that, right? And then the next one they did was, well, I guess they had like all those other like Heroes and all those other weird ones, but they weren't Droid. They weren't Motorola's. That was just Verizon stuff. But as far as Motorola, like there was the Droid and then the Droid X, which was different.
Well, it seemed like it felt like they were like sort of locking it down a little bit. They were reducing, like, we had the Moto G, we had the Moto E, the Moto G, the Moto X, and within the Moto X you could get like the Pure Edition, if you will, or the Developer Edition, or you could get just a regular one. And
Depending
like,
on the
to me, that made
you were on. It depended on the carrier.
Yeah. But it wasn't as, to me, confusing as... It's not even so much confusing, it's just irritating. Like, we have the Moto X, we have the Moto X Pure, we have the Moto X Force, we have the Moto X...
Style.
Fucking, I don't know, the Bulge. Like, there's just so many different versions
the Moto
of...
X Bulge?
Just saying.
What would the gimmick be of the bulge if you like a really strong vibrator in it? Like you could turn it up to max and then you could turn it up to like bulge.
I think it's just it has such a hump that it's uncomfortable to be in your pocket.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. But it's so
So
heavy you have to inevitably put it into your pocket to give your arms a rest.
It's a conundrum.
It's a catch-22. It's a Moto X catch-22.
No, that's a good one. I feel like if they were like this Force thing, the Force like this thing was just leaked. It's a phone. It's a version of the Moto X that supposedly has like it's unbreakable. Like the code name is Bounce.
Hold on. I'm sorry, I gotta interrupt you again. Is this the Moto X Force or is this the Force Bounce?
I think the code name is Bounce, but Force is what it'll probably come out with as its official name for consumers.
How can you know? How can you truly know?
You won't
Both
know
are
until they
dumb.
announce it.
Okay.
So something that's shatterproof. Like in my mind, why not just make all of your phones this way?
In my
Like
mind,
why have you?
the second you say that, people are going to do everything in their power to shatter it, right? Like, you should just not mention that. If someone drops it and they're like, huh, didn't break. Well, lucky me. You know, don't be like, oh, you'll never shatter this phone. Because I bet we will. I promise we will.
Yeah, shatterproof is more of a challenge than a feature. But
Yeah,
go ahead, Nick.
It looks like this is at least going to be some sort of a sport/ruggedized version, unless they come out with another version, which is the sport non-ruggedized version. But yeah, I think typically why they don't come out with exclusively ruggedized phones is because it tends to add bulk and weight, to the phones. But it does seem interesting that this would probably be their first actual rugged phone that they've come out with. I don't think that any other previous phones they've had, even before the Moto line, I don't recall any sort of ruggedized versions there. So,
Wouldn't it be better rather than having an entire line like this? Have a little checkbox on Moto Maker. Ruggedize. Make my phone idiot-proof. Like, is that?
Ooh, I like that.
I don't know. Like, if they want to set themselves apart, because now, I mean, I look at Motorola and they are they're turning into just another Android company like Samsung that's going to have 50 different versions of their phone out there, and it's going to be confusing.
It's not any one version anyone wants. Like, I feel like Motorola could really separate themselves if they take all of this. Like, and if you look at the specs for this, rumor reported, it's like 543 for the display, 3 gigs of RAM, and either 32 or 64 gig with a giant battery, 3760 milliamp, like a badass camera as far as megapixels goes at 21. Like, you could take all of these all of these different specs and roll it all into Moto Maker. And don't name any one phone whatever the fuck you're going to name it. Just be like, oh, I want it in a 5-inch display. I want a 64 gig version with a 4,000 milliamp battery with 4 gigs of RAM. And the 21 mega, it's almost like AotA at that point, where you're not modular, but you're picking, which level of what you want inside the phone. And that would be way better, besides them trying to guess at what we want and being like, well, here's a giant one that's underpowered, here's a small one that's overpowered, let us pick.
Yeah, and I don't think that some people were concerned with Moto Maker. They thought that it would be too confusing for consumers, it'd be too complicated. But I like it a lot. It's not, I mean, I could put like my mom or somebody on that site and say build a phone. Because it's not difficult. It's okay, do you want this much memory or that much memory? Like, these are choices that you're already making in the store anyways. If they just sort of kept with that simplified theme and just made it like, well, do you want the bigger camera? Do you want to ruggedize it? Do you want this or that? Yeah, I think it'd make more sense, and it would certainly differentiate them from having, 50 devices with 50 different names that just like irritate the hell out of all of us.
And that could all be rolled in easily into the process. You know, you don't have to just give them a giant set of drop-down options. You can specify categories and then be like, okay, are you going to A, drop your phone a lot, or B, not drop it very much at all? And then, just like word problem, not like math equations. Give them word problems, I guess. I don't know.
Problem.
Just take everybody's phone away at this point. Like, who cares? CNN Money reporting that the Moto X Pure Edition is the best Android phone out there, I guess, right now, because it's not really out there yet, is it?
No, you can pre-order it. I don't know exactly. I don't recall exactly when it's going to be shipping, but
about pre-orders, Nick.
No, yeah, but it looks like it's a pretty decent phone. But yeah, but it's a pretty big one too. It's a 5.7-inch screen, and it's it's something that you basically pre-order and you get directly from them. You're not going to be able to get through any of the carriers. So it's got a quad HD screen. So.
But it's all high end. I mean, that's the same as the other one has. It's just bigger screen, right?
Yeah, it's a little faster than the ruggedized one. The ruggedized one has an 801 processor, Snapdragon 801. This one has, I think it's the Snapdragon 808. It's got 3 gigs of RAM and 32 or 64 gigs of storage, if I remember correctly. So
and will that actually translate into like a difference on anything besides a benchmark? I mean, from the 802 to the 808, like what's the upside to that?
I think at this point it's a law of diminishing returns, considering how smooth stock Android would be on a phone like this. You probably wouldn't notice the difference much. Maybe it'd make a difference if you're playing one of the more demanding games or something, but I think for general all-around use it wouldn't really matter much. So.
And an SD card slot. Going back that route.
Yeah. And it has quick charging as well, so that's cool. And it's got some sort of water protection. I don't know if it's technically, waterproof per se, but
it's not waterproof. It's splash proof. Like it's the kind that like if you got caught in the rain.
Right, water resistant.
That's right.
Difference. You can pee on it, but you can't submerge it in a toilet full of pee for very long. And it's only $400. I mean, like a car.
Yeah, for a flagship. Yeah, it's one of the cheaper flagships out there, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm reading this like it doesn't. I don't know. Would you call this flagship, or would you call this like upper mid range? Like, is this more like the original Moto X?
Eric, listen. It has a front selfie flash. If that's not flagship, I don't know what is.
Got me there. Shit.
Yeah, checkmate, essay.
I'm Snapchatting now.
Yeah, I do think it's relatively, I mean, it's not as premium as something like an S6 or a Note, but those things have like DDR4 and, much more advanced processors, stuff like that. This, it's like a Snapdragon 808. I think it's a hexa-core, if I remember correctly, but as opposed to like a octa-core, but I mean, realistically, how much faster do you need it necessarily, than what it is? So
that just came out for pre-orders today. Very exciting. Looks to be quite a few phones right up that Motorola alley that I appreciate living in with the active notifications and whatnot. So I think I get an upgrade next month. What month is it? Mine's in October, I think. What other Moto X editions would you like to discuss this evening?
Well, they came out with, I think, 3 or 4. They showed off 3 or 4 editions of their newest Moto 360 watch.
Ooh, I noticed that was trending on Google Plus, where all of my friends socially network.
Yeah. They have 2 different sizes now. One size is like 42 millimeters for the screen. And that's for males typically. There's also I can't remember the measurement, but it's a smaller screen for women. So
I'll tell you what, that watch face is looking real nice.
Yeah.
Very Timex glow. Indiglo girl.
And if you get the larger one, it's got the same size screen as the original Moto 360, but it's got a 400 milliamp hour battery as opposed to I think 300 and change that the last one did. So plus it's got a newer processor, Snapdragon 400. I think it's the quad-core one. So that's a much faster processor compared to the one that it was on the last 360. So it's got a lot more bands. One of the features I like is the bands have like a quick release mechanism built into the band, which makes it really quick and easy to take off. You don't need a separate tool for it, like the previous one or like most of the other watches. So
if someone wants to just run them jewels, got a quick catch, you can just popping right off.
And I think there's also the ability to customize it through Moto Maker. You can customize the I don't want to say band, the bezel, whatever you call it, as well as the straps.
It's interesting that there's 4 versions, like you said. Like they have the women's version. I feel like that nomenclature is going to come to bite them in the ass very soon. Like people are going, the women's version. Like they should have just said we have a smaller version.
I do think they have the way they differentiate is they have a smaller version that's just not labeled with women in mind, and then there's the women's version which has some additional types of bands or features or whatever. So
it's got like one of those little things that you can check your
It's still not. I mean, this is not the right. This is not the right environment to start drawing lines. Drawing gender lines. I'm just saying. Like the women's version, that's the only one that you can get. Like the rose, I think it's like a rose gold or something. Like there's certain colors, like you said, Nick, you can only get.
Yeah, and the classy man, I enjoy rose gold every now and again.
Yeah, I'm looking at their site. I'm looking at their site right now, the Moto Maker 360 section, and it's 46 millimeters for men and 42 millimeters, and then there's the one designed for women, which is 42 millimeters. So technically, on their site, they have 3 different sizes or 3 different versions, 2 for men and 1 for women.
Specifically for females, alienating the whole male demographic that's not going to buy that version. But then
I'd rock some rose gold.
That could be for both at the same wrist size. So you can't say, well, it's because women have smaller wrists. No, bro, they don't. Well, some of them do. Not all of them, though. The men have smaller wrists, But that's weird that you label one specifically that.
Yeah. Well, and the 4th version, which we haven't specifically talked about, is the sport version.
Sport, yeah.
Which does not have. You cannot remove it from its what do you call it? Its wristband.
The band.
It's stuck in there.
You cannot run them jewels.
It's one
jewels.
Yeah, it's one contiguous unit, and I think that's going to be more waterproof, et cetera, et cetera.
Huh. Now, does it cost more or less to have the one that you can't, change around?
That I don't know. That since it hasn't been released yet, I don't think they've released the pricing on it. But
Eric asking the hard questions tonight. I like that.
I am looking now. Moto 360 for Jesus. Google's getting on this bandwagon too. Moto 360 for women.
And
hey there.
I see what you did. That's sorry.
And woo. So I'm going to answer my own question.
Ooh,
yeah, it looks like the one designed for men and women that are both 42 millimeters are the same price, but if you upgrade to the 46 millimeter one, it adds $50 to the checkout. So for the larger one, that's the size screen that the existing Moto X has. So. What, Matt?
More millimeters makes sense. You're paying per millimeters, basically how these things are calculated.
Yeah. Well, you also get a 400 milliamp battery as opposed to a 300 milliamp hour battery. So it's supposed to be longer lasting, and they've even made claims that if you don't use that ambient mode, whatever where the screen is always on or whatever, or nearly always on, it'll last 2 days. So hopefully there's some legitimate battery life improvements here.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see that. I think a day. They say a day for regular use with the screen always on, which is good.
Yeah.
I think a day is like the minimum, but it'd be nice to see it go a couple of days.
Yeah.
In reality, though, I mean, you get home, you go to sleep, you put your watch on the thing, and it charges. But I don't know. Maybe you like to sleep with your watch. Maybe it's doing sleep tracking. Maybe you're just whiny.
That's probably it.
Probably.
I think, now stay with me here, is it possible that they released a female-specific version because they're going to put Wear on iOS? Right? Because you have a lot of
A
girls
lot of ladies over there.
on iOS. Yeah, do you see what is that just correlation or causation, or what do you think? The market dictating this whole separate version just for our female iOS users?
It's some logical fallacy. I'm not sure what.
It is good that they have the two different sizes. I mean, I think more of the manufacturers need to do that because, I mean, if you want to attract the entire other gender, that's a way to start. So.
That's true. You just make it specifically for them, and that'll make them want it, because they'll be like, guys, you can't have this women equality thing.
Yeah. Say, oh, this is my part of the bus. Can I go here?
Oh,
that's great.
I will be sitting here. Thank you.
I love having this all to myself.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with iPhone compatibility, Matt Lee, is that right now it's actually only for the LG Urbane. So it's not even for all Android Wear watches.
I almost did a spit take. What, Eric?
I know. You can't run them jewels.
How is that possible?
I don't know. It's terrible, but it is expected, allegedly, according to this blog post from Google's, that Asus and the Huawei's and Motorola, they'll be compatible soon. But as of right now, it's only that high-end Urbane.
In there, allowing it to talk to these foreign devices, Eric?
I do not know.
Perhaps some sort of male-to-female translator, perhaps? Or...
That must be what it is. It's something to do with gender. I think we just got to suss it out.
Really? I mean, I feel like it's right there on the tip of just... But I don't know. I can't push it over that precipice.
I just keep going, keep pushing.
Well, iPhones cannot install any third-party watch apps from Google Play onto your iPhones because obviously it's not a Google phone. So, if you could install apps from Google Play onto your iPhone, that would be pretty awesome for all the ladies on iOS. Right.
Yep. It's interesting news, I guess. There was another article. I didn't put it in the show notes because I didn't have a chance to read it. But
there either. I don't know what I was doing. Sorry.
No, I think this is great. Google, it just seems like Google is continuously trying to infiltrate this, this ecosystem, this iPhone ecosystem. The article I had seen, it was something like Google figuring out a way to allow certain types of advertising on iPhones that Apple doesn't want to allow.
Oh yeah, that was a while ago, huh? Doing the little JavaScript trick or whatever.
I like it.
I like it a lot.
It's guerrilla warfare.
Loophole? Why, yes I will, thank you very much.
Yes. With my JavaScript.
Let's, while we're talking about hardware and stuff, what is this Acer Predator? I like the name. Ooh, look at that! Is that for real? I think we may have just found my next new tablet.
Oh lordy!
Oh yeah, the tablet. Yeah, that's we had mentioned it on a previous show. It's an exotic-looking tablet. But yeah,
you guys listen. Don't be
check out those bezels. Check out those Klingon bezels over there with the.
Do you remember when had awesome bezels like that? Do you recall? I believe it was called the Zyboard. Do you recall what happened?
Oh yeah.
The Zyboard?
It apparently didn't go anywhere. But this here will change.
This looks like something Batman would take out of his belt and throw at you.
Right? That's awesome. I would carry that and probably shave with it.
So it looks like it's got an 8-inch 1080p display, an Atom processor, 64-bit quad core. Let's see. Seems pretty decent. It's got a SD card slot, 32 or 64 gigs of internal storage. Looks like it's got MIMO.
Hold up. Hold up. Acer, what the F are you doing? 2 gigs of RAM? Really? What year is it?
Well, it
It's
is
not
still
2015.
well, it is still a
Clearly.
tablet. Unfortunately, that's still fairly common. The smartphones are
1989 called, and it wants its 1 gig of RAM back. You
yeah.
keep. So what is it just the shape and that it's beveled on the back like that? Like, what is this? What is
They
the?
almost look like speakers. I wonder if they are.
They are. It's quad speakers. It's 4 little speakers. So what they're
Okay.
saying is that
Is
like for gaming, it'll be nicer.
Is this a quadcopter? Because this guy
Oh, that's
looks
the head.
mad.
That's the handset.
That's an O face.
This guy looks dope and excited for this phone. Because it's also red. It matches his tablet, which probably also matches the Ferrari he drove to this event in.
Well, that's
It
their
matches his
6-inch.
Alienware.
Yeah, that's their 6-inch smartphone. That one has 4 gigs of RAM. It looks like. Let's see,
So
1080p display.
hold up. How the hell are you going to put more RAM in your phone than your tablet?
That's
that-
the industry. The
No.
tablets tend to. The smartphones tend to outpace the tablets in terms of performance and specs.
Dumbest
So.
thing ever, because I'm playing all my games on my phone, not my tablet. Thank you. Joey Kelly joining us. What's up, Joey?
Good evening, gentlemen. Fresh back from the wonderful world of on-site IT service, and
Ooh.
ready to talk about much more fun
You know
and
what
Windows
thing
updates.
I think of when I hear on-site IT service? It's this face. Oh.
You guys
That's the
wanna buy
same
a
face
phone?
that I get. The same look on my face every time I think about you, Matt.
Oh. He's like, it's for you. Oh.
It actually kind of looks like he's sucking a sour jelly bean.
He's looking at this and being like, why does this have less RAM than this? And then that's the face he makes. He's like,
Yeah,
oh.
It's exactly right. Somebody just told him.
Somebody got those swapped at the factory there. But anything else that sticks out about this? It has all these 2 powerful ARM Cortex A72 cores. That's cool. With then more cores, 8 more to be exact, low to mid power A53s. All the cores. None of the RAM.
I don't know. Like this doesn't grab me. I see what they were trying to do, but it doesn't like. I would still go with an NVIDIA over this, and I'm sure that I'm sure soon NVIDIA is going to be announcing a new tablet. Like I think they're
be $300, and is it gonna look like a drone? And is it gonna be named something dope like Predator? I don't think so.
Well, I do think they're definitely going for a more edgy angle here. So,
Well,
I don't
clearly,
know. I mean, some people might like this. Maybe a parent getting this for their kid or something like that.
let's go back to this guy. Clearly, he is wearing a jersey with a sport coat over it. So, I mean,
I think there's
that.
gel in his hair too.
Oh, well, that gel, it could be. Sure.
Mm.
So, not
I have to
interested
admit,
in...
for $300, it looks cool.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
The
If it had-
speakers.
Nah. Are they Beats?
Are they
Hopefully
Beats?
not. That basically guarantees a premium, an additional premium for no other reason on the phone, just because there's a audio equalizer, so a software preset. So no beats, please.
Are they
So
actually
then-
4 speakers, or they just look like it?
Yes, 4 speakers, and they claim virtual surround sound. So that would be pretty cool. But I've got the Nexus 9, and I've enjoyed the sound on that. So if it's anything on that level, that's pretty cool. So, I mean, it may be a legitimate multimedia tablet. So I would be interested to see like reviews on it and see if the performance and the quality is there. So.
Well, let's continue speaking about tablets, this time without Ashton Kutcher's help, as Lenovo is the Yoga Tab 3 and the Yoga Tab 3 Pro. These look kind of sexy as well, and they're, what, $500? for the Pro.
Yeah, they look pretty cool. I've always been a fan of the yoga design. You know, the ability to flip it back. So, like on the notebooks, for example, the tablets have been a little bit different because they usually have like a projector in there or something like that. But
I believe this also has a projector, but for some reason I was thinking that the yoga tablets were like Windows tablets. Am I wrong, or do they have two different lines?
they may have also had like a Windows-based version of this, but I've only seen the Android-based one. So
I think they call it the Yoga.
Pro or something maybe.
No, they don't use Tab. They ThinkPad Yoga or something like that. Maybe, but I think you're right. Eric, there is a Windows variant of this, and it's the same concept of flippable and whatnot, but it is Windows based. So yeah, this is not the only yoga offering.
Does it also have the DLP projector in it? The DLP-P?
I doubt it, but
That's kind of cool. I'd like to put something like that in a tablet. I don't know. I think.
I did a quick Google search. It looks like they just call it the Lenovo Yoga Tablet 2 with Windows. So if it has Windows, they'll just append with Windows on it. And I guess that's probably something Microsoft wants that to be done because obviously they want to promote the product. I would guess.
And this one is green. If you are watching live here, showing the pictures. This one is green, though.
Yeah, Windows 8.1 with Bing operating system, so that's their Windows variant.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe it is the identical hardware, just with a different OS loaded.
Yeah, that's actually one of the advantages of going with an Atom tablet because it's Intel x86 based, and built for the portable market. So that's a plus there.
Yeah, reading this article.
Oh, sorry, go for it, Eric.
It just came to mind that I'm thinking that this is like the business tablet. You go there, you pull up your PowerPoint, but I think in the article they mentioned like Netflix. Like somebody could use this as their Netflix projector.
Oh,
which is a neat idea.
That is pretty cool.
And like the Predator, this also has 4 speakers front facing. If you stick your head in there, it is like virtualized Dolby Atmos. Gimmick or legit?
Personally, I vote gimmick.
I tend to agree.
Joey, would you get one of these? For your
honestly, I don't. Well, I don't have Netflix. I got Amazon. So up until recently, I would have said no because until that app came out there the last week when I was on the show, there was no reason to have an Android device to project anything because I couldn't do anything with it.
You can.
I think from what I'm looking,
they play that now. The Prime streaming and all that through the new app.
From what I'm looking at, price-wise on Amazon. Quite frankly, Yoga 3 2-in-1 touchscreen. They're calling it a touchscreen laptop. $819.99 right now. Retail price is $999.99. I'm sorry. You can buy.
But that is cool too.
Well, this is one of those things where they're pitching it as one device to do everything, and I get that concept. But I don't agree with it. Personally, I understand the idea of, okay, I want to have just one device, everything's on it, and I do everything with it. The catch is that, in my opinion, that is your law of averages. If you take one device to do 2 jobs, it's going to do neither of them as well as a dedicated device could do either job.
Right.
So, for $1,000, you can buy a halfway decent laptop and a pretty decent tablet. I mean, that Acer one we were looking at was $300. I can find you a halfway decent laptop for maybe even the 15 or 15.5-inch screen for $4 somewhere. So, I mean, I feel like this is one of those things where to make it do what you want it to do, you have to put such a price on it that it becomes, to a certain extent, better to have two devices that you can use independently for the same retail price. Just me.
That's true. I like having a Kindle and an Android tablet / phone or whatever. Because, you could read on
I
your
think that also
tablet, but the experience is better on the Kindle.
Yeah.
But you couldn't do all the tablet stuff on your Kindle because that's a god-awful experience. So I get what you're saying. Like, you definitely want certain dedicated devices, but not too much,
Well, you remember we had a similar discussion when Windows 8 first dropped. It was the Windows 8 operating system was designed for touchscreens, but if you didn't have a touchscreen, you still had to use the touchscreen style interface, and it sucked.
Yep.
And they made it better, but initially it sucked royally. And I feel like this is one of those things where if you need a tablet, you're looking for lightweight, easy to carry, instant on, and you're probably willing to sacrifice usability for some battery life.
Yeah.
And if you need a laptop, you need horsepower and a full Windows OS. And the two are not necessarily compatible.
And quite frankly, often you want a tablet that you don't want to be a notebook-sized device. As a tablet, you want something relatively small, next to 7, 8, or 9, or anything in that 7 to 10 inch category as a tablet.
The days that I
Even
got
just
away
the Chrome.
like bringing my Nexus 10 and a keyboard with me instead of my whole laptop, like those were good because it is such a big difference compared.
And that's pretty. Yeah, that's a pretty popular thing for a lot of people in the tech industry. They'll have their iPad and some sort of a Bluetooth keyboard. Asus sells a Transformers line, which essentially is just a tablet and then an additional keyboard with it. So.
And both Matt and I at one point had Transformer crap. Which one did you have, Matt?
Prime. I think Eric, you had one too, huh? The very first Transformer Prime. The purple, metal one.
The original one and the Prime, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. I remember. Good times. I wonder where that thing is.
In a landfill.
Yeah. Does Joey, you still have yours?
No, that was bought for me by a previous employer, so they kept it when they shit canned me.
Wipe it?
Did I what?
Did you wipe it?
Oh, yeah, wiped it right in front of the guys that were firing me. I am so wiping this. Stink. But, yeah, I remember liking it, and I remember at the time, I know I made this comment on this show, that if without the keyboard, the tablet is an aggravated toy. With the keyboard, it becomes something you can actually use for business. And that is just takes it to a whole nother level, in my opinion, and makes it actually usable.
Yeah.
I agree. I sold mine too. Real quick, we can move on past this, but because we're talking about keyboards and stuff, there was this awesome Bluetooth keyboard that got announced by LG. That I think looks amazing.
Yeah, I've had a friend. When he was a trucker, he had a similar keyboard. It wasn't Bluetooth, but it was one of these keyboards that would roll up. You would get it would just roll up, but it was wired, and that was actually pretty cool. And it looks like this actually has even more value because it's smaller, lighter, and wireless. So.
And it looks like a full-size keyboard. There's probably not a lot of travel on it, like the keys. But I don't know. I've sort of come to expect that from Bluetooth keyboards.
Yeah.
But what I like is, I'll try to pull this up on the screen share, but it folds up.
Yeah.
And it folds up in such a way that, it sort of becomes a stick. So here I will share this. So you see, right here, it has these little rubber feet that sort of cushion it. And what I really liked about it, too, if you watch this video, is that it has an automatic on-off switch depending on whether it's open or closed.
Cool.
And it comes with a stand. I'm
Or
very
is
excited
it the
about
stand?
Say
Is
that
that a
again,
Stephen
Joey?
King joke? I'm not sure.
Is it the stand, or does it come with a stand? Because it almost looks like you can
Oh,
set on
okay.
it.
Yes, I'm sorry. It is the stand. It looks like it like come. If I remember right, here we'll show this picture. Yeah, see, sort of comes out the back of it.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. And I got to admit, I'm with the writers here on Droid Life. If that's under $50, I'm so picking one up, because that would be just awesome. I mean, you take your Nexus 6, put it sideways in that little dock, you get a full-size keyboard at that point. Heck yeah.
I like this animated GIF at the bottom of this. Not bad, LG. Looks like this is getting some support from the community.
It feels
Nice
it
thing
feels
about
like
the-
one of the. No, go ahead, Joey.
Well, I was going to say, the nice thing about the keyboard that isn't specific to a device is that if you've got a working keyboard and you get a different tablet, you can keep the keyboard, and you don't have to buy another one.
Yeah, that's true. Use it for different devices. Yeah.
Exactly. Go for it, Eric.
Have you seen the? I don't know if you've ever seen this in other keyboards, but in watching the video, they said it can also do like dual pairing. So at the same time, you can pair it. Like the example, it's funny. The example they actually used is meant to be like a reporter writing an article at a coffee shop, and she's writing the article on her tablet, and then the editor texts her and says, "Hey, where's my article?" And it was paired to both the tablet and the phone. She was able to type out the response without doing anything additional. And that was something I hadn't seen before. At least I've never come across the need to do that.
Well, I've never run across it on a smart device, but I'm sitting here right now in my home office, and I'm running Synergy with 2 desktop PCs with 1 keyboard and mouse. So I can completely understand how you would want to do this. Although I have to admit, I don't. In an environment like this where the stuff is fixed, I can see it working. Outside of that environment, it's one of those features that cool, but probably not going to get used much. Just a guess.
You're muted.
Eric, you're muted.
Well, thank you. I agree with you, Joey. And you sort of bring up the idea of like you're running Synergy, and like I use a KVM switch at work sometimes. If there's like a hardware hotkey that can make it easily like switch over to this other device, like maybe in a very, very small instances this would make sense, but it seems to me like it's just one of those like check the box and cool features that most people aren't going to use.
I mean, how many people really do carry around and use simultaneously 2 mobile devices?
Not many.
I mean,
The simultaneous thing is where you got me. I think quite a few people use the keyboards. I don't know. I've never been comfortable using them. I don't like them, but my wife does a lot. So this is I see this as being appealing, regardless of any gimmicks that they may throw in.
What about you, Nick? I mean, you see yourself grabbing one of these and taking off with your Nexus 9?
I could. Back when I was last semester, I was in college, and I used my Nexus 9 before every class. I would study. I'd leave work early. I'd study for a couple hours and go into class. I could see something like this if I was not just receiving information, but maybe if I was writing articles or writing papers or something like that. I could see some use for it. So.
Yeah, I've been doing a ridiculous amount of keyboarding lately on my Chromebook. Starting just picking it up, walking around with it, and I've actually been writing customer documentation and notes and such, because it's just balance it in one hand, slip it under the arm, walk off. Not a big deal. This would be slightly harder than that, but I could definitely see how it would work. And if they do come out with it under $50, I am seriously gonna chase after one.
Yeah, my Nexus 7 I had for the first couple years when I was at one of my jobs, and I would take it to work and study on that with lunch, and that could fit in my pocket. You know, so that plus a portable device like this, both could still fit in my pocket. You know.
Well, switching gears a little bit, are you guys excited for a possible September 29th Nexus announcement?
I am. Yeah, completely. Because I mean, I've had this Nexus 5 for about a year at this point, and it's not really showing its age, et cetera, et cetera. But I would certainly be interested in getting a new Nexus phone based on what comes out, and it looks like there's going to be maybe 2 different phones, so that's cool.
So, what are you thinking, Nick? The 5.2 LG phone or the slightly larger 5.7 Huawei phone?
For me personally, the 5.2 LG phone. We have the Nexus 5, which is a 5-inch LG phone, so I'd probably be more based in that. But I have to know more about the specs and price, and before I make a decision. A big factor would be whether or not one or both of these has dual front-facing speakers, because I've pretty much made up my mind that next phone I get, I want to have front-facing speakers. So I may even possibly go down the Moto X Pure route if neither of these phones has that. So.
Is that because you're are you watching a lot of stuff on your phone, or what's the idea?
Not often, but sometimes I would actually watch videos on my phone, like if I take a break or something like that, or if I'm just out traveling, like tomorrow I got to go get an oil change, and I'm going to go wait for God knows how long, for that, and whatever services I decide to get my windshield wipers replaced. And it's nice having the ability, to listen to stuff. So I could also just bring a headset as well, but it's nice having the ability, if I forget having a headset, just listen to something on the phone. So.
Well, for what it's worth, 2 out of my last 3 phones have had front-facing speakers, and I do not regret it at all. At low volumes, meaning not with the car windows open, or traveling any kind of speed, the Nexus 6's front-mounted speakers rival my speakerphone that's clipped to the visor in my on my car, and it's only after you get up to speed that you actually notice the difference. And the quality is ridiculous. And the thing that I like about it is that if you and I are sitting in a room and we've got front-mounted speakers, I'm not going to hear as much of what you're listening to.
Yeah. Also, like for me, like the Nexus 9, a lot of times when I'm winding down in bed, I'll listen to that, and I like having the front-facing speakers there. It would probably be the same thing for a smartphone if I had that instead, with front-facing speakers.
Yep.
Plus, the sound quality is pretty good. Like, if you hear an alert on my Nexus 9 tablet, it's pretty resounding. And the way my phone like when I put the phone in the pocket, having the front-facing speakers points outward makes it more visible to hear the actual phone call or ringer. So.
How about you, Joey? I mean, I know you're doing the Project Fi thing, but they could announce compatibility with the new Nexus line. Are you down for a new Nexus, or are you happy with your 6?
I'm very happy with the 6, to be brutally honest. And I did just buy it, so still has that new shiny phone flavor to it. So I'm not looking to replace it anytime soon. So feel free to skip this one, Fi, on my account. It's always nice to see what's new and coming out, but I'm personally not interested. The one thing that would trip my trigger if they did offer this under Fi would be if one or the other had a significantly better review on its camera than the Nexus 6. The Nexus 6 is very good, but it does have some limitations. Much, much, much better than the Moto G, but that's like comparing one of those Yugos to a Cadillac.
Oh yeah.
It's not the same class at all.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to announce it on September 29th, which is just under 4 weeks from now. It should be on a Tuesday, I think. Yeah, Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Pretty much all their announcements are. So yeah, I'd definitely be interested in that. I would tune into the announcement to watch and see how that goes. And Marshmallow would come, stock on these, and who knows. So.
Well, more significant, I think, than a new Nexus device in and of itself is the fact that they're rolling out potentially the first Nexus device to be done by Huawei or however you pronounce that.
Huawei, yeah.
And that's a total new vendor for this,
Yeah.
and an obvious handshake from Google or Alphabet or whoever it is that's going to actually do the handshaking.
Yeah.
And to say, all right, look, we condone your manufacture of our devices. It's kind of like an elevation, and that.
I'm sorry, go on.
No, go for it.
Well, I was going to say, these could be cheaper devices, too. The Nexus 6 is, relatively speaking, a premium device, and so these may not be quite as premium and therefore not as expensive. So,
like I say, love it, didn't love the price tag.
Yeah, like for me, a big thing would be wireless charging. That's something the Moto X Pure, none of the Moto X versions I don't think have, or if they do, I'm not thinking of the one, but the Moto X Pure doesn't have wireless charging, and that's something that's big for me at work. I use a wireless charger, and I sit down, drop my phone on it, and so I personally need wireless charging.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that the Huawei phone, like I think the LG phone's gonna be fine. They've figured out how to make good phones. The Huawei phone, I'm gonna predict that it's better than the haters would expect, but that it's going to have hardware problems. Like there's gonna be something weird, like light bleed around the screen or weird like color issues. Like there's gonna be something.
What about stock back doors?
Stock back doors too.
With every Huawei phone, there's a chip in there, back door, hardware.
So are you excited, Matt? Are you looking to this September 29th thing and thinking that this maybe is the opportunity to replace that Moto X?
Is Huawei going to be on Verizon?
Well, I mean, there's also the LG option.
Ooh, yeah, I've never had an LG phone. I guess it'll all.
That would be the one. Yeah, that'd be the one with the 5.2-inch screen, so it'd be a little bit smaller than the Huawei.
Yeah. I need 5 or less. Or 7 would be fantastic.
I know we don't have it in this rundown. but Sony just announced 3 different Xperia Z5 or Z5 phones, and one of them is the Z5 Compact, which is the same size as your current Moto X, Matt, but it has a much faster processor, has SD card slot, a 21 megapixel camera as opposed to a 10 megapixel camera, and some other features. So that might be something for you.
How do you feel about Sony phones?
I like the look of them personally. They have 2 different normal phones that they've released, the non-compact models, and then they announced a compact model. But one of them is like a Z5 Premium, which has a 4K display, which is interesting on a 5.5-inch phone.
An absurd.
Can I just say that seems like it's. Sorry, Matt. I was just going to say that sounds like that's overkill.
Oh yeah, 4K
wicked overkill.
Yeah, that's overkill, but.
But it has a 64-bit processor, but only 3 gigs of RAM. That's smart.
I think you'd be happy with a Sony. I've used a couple of different models.
It's gold, so there's that.
Hey.
Yeah, they have a gray model, a gold model. Oh, it also has a fingerprint sensor. That power button there is a fingerprint sensor, like you see on the, the Samsung and the Apple phones.
Ugh.
Shut up.
Ugh.
It doesn't look like a fingerprint sensor. That's very odd.
Yeah, trust me, it is. All 3 Z5 versions have it, and so far I've seen one. I think it's. I want to say maybe Phone Arena. I'll have to look, but they've done some testing on the fingerprint sensor, and it's pretty accurate. The one person said to them it's been more accurate than the iPhone 1. So
is that a big small USB, or is that the micro? That looks like the old school.
It's a mini USB.
What's up with that?
Nailed it.
Nice. So. I know your cameras used to use those, but
It's very chunky looking.
It's a big
looks like
square or rectangular brick of gold with a screen on it.
Well, and it looks like that gold part, like that snaps on. Like it looks like a case, like something you bought on eBay for 50 cents.
It's very Legend of
like
Zelda.
A bumper case. Oh yeah.
Right? I'll look at it with the iPhone. Supposedly the fastest autofocus on the market.
Yeah, this one has a 23 megapixel camera, and it's according to them their highest end mobile camera sensor.
This is cool. It's not active notifications though, but it is kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one thing you won't get on the other phones, you know, that Motorola provides is active notifications. I don't know of any other phone brand or model that offers the active notification type features that this one does. Samsung has, you know, the little on their Edge phones they have something similar, but you have to have the phone facing down. So, but the compact version you might like. Also, it's got a 2700 milliamp battery as opposed to 2200, and it has an SD card slot. So.
Sounds like there'll be lots of good options out for when I'm ready for that upgrade.
Quick aside, another little thing here that's on The Verge today that does affect mobile. Apparently, the Alliance for Open Media, which is Amazon, Cisco, Google, Intel, Microsoft, Mozilla, and Netflix, is coming out or going to be developing a free and open source royalty-free video codec. And that, by the way, would in theory, lower the price for streaming media for everybody, and it would also allow everyone to get every service across all platforms with the same codec. So, hey, that's can't be bad for anybody.
A codec that's not tied up with patents? What?
Yeah, exactly. And apparently this is being brought on by an industry standard group that has a successor to the H.264 codec that is capable of transmitting 4K video at half the available bandwidth, but they're trying to strap it under patents. So
Right.
This is inevitable. You know, eventually if you drive enough people batty with patents, someone will just simply say, forget you, and write their own to get around all your patents.
Well, yeah,
Which,
well,
by the way, speaking of patents,
right? That's pretty much all we've been waiting for. One that's
yeah,
unencumbered.
and that reminds me.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't had a good patent war story on Android in a while. I think that's kind of finally died off, and I for one am glad.
For now.
Yeah, until the next wave of patent trolls come over the hill.
No, they're under the bridge.
iPhone 1, I'm also glad. You know what I'm not glad about? Your brand new Android could have malware. Eric, does your brand new Android have malware? Nick,
I don't know, but the screen won't turn on.
Oh, that's a problem. Some retailers are unpacking brand new mobile devices with the Android OS, loading them with malicious software, and then, you know, turning around and selling them to unsuspecting buyers. So, not necessarily the fault of Android per se, but I appreciate the headline manipulation. They say, quote, over the past year we've seen a significant increase in devices that are equipped with firmware-level spyware and malware out of the box, which can take a wide range of unwanted and unknown actions. It's a product manager for G-Data. The pre-installed spyware, which cannot be removed without unlocking the phone, is capable of accessing the internet, reading and sending text messages, installing unwanted apps, accessing contact lists, obtaining location data, and so much more. Most of the infected phones appear to have been tampered with by middlemen in China. Huh, weird. Who inject their own advertising in order to flip that profit. Just trying to F a P here, that's all. Some of the devices are...
Oh, so the takeaway...
Well known, listen to this.
Don't
The
go...
best part. Nope, hold up. The best part. Some of these devices are made by well-known international brands like Howie and Lenovo. Thanks, middlemen.
So, long story made short, do not go buy a new phone at a Verizon wireless store, or or T-Mobile, or let's see, AT&F. These are just off brands that you're just not going to find a good thing, or the Apple store. Stay away from that.
That's true. I would never buy an Apple.
This seems a little disingenuous to say that it's
Yeah.
with the Android operating system.
Hello?
This is just more like bullshit coming from people to say that Android has like inherent problems that no other platform does.
Yeah, it does get old hearing the same stories over and over completely different things, which don't have anything directly to do with Android or fragmentation. So.
Well, what about this? Our article on Ars Technica about some Android ransomware. This time utilizing the XMPP protocol. That's the chat that Google Talk was built on. I imagine Hangouts.
It used to be an open source. Probably still is an open source, chat protocol. Yeah.
So, and of course, if you're not familiar with ransomware, usually looks something like this, and it's all like, hey, we noticed that you had some biz on your phone that you're gonna owe us some money to have. But then also, they're kind of taking a page out of, what was it? Was it BitLocker or whatever that one that was encrypting? I forget what the actual ransomware was called.
Yeah.
BitLocker.
Yeah. BitLocker's the type of encryption that you use to get around stuff like that usually. But yeah, there was a ransomware that used to ask you to go to Kmart, I think it was, and get a money order.
I forget what the name is. There's one that's been going around biting a lot.
CryptoLocker.
Yeah, maybe that one.
CryptoLocker.
But
That's the one, yeah. That was the most popular one.
This is doing that, but on your phone. So it's basically encrypting all the content of your phone, and then, it's like, pay me using an instant messaging protocol because it's on your phone and it's there. The malware requests administrative permissions to sink its hooks so deep into that Android OS. Once it's installed, it announces itself by saying, hey, I was put here by the NSA, and now you have to pay a fine to get your files back. So,
you know what's funny?
What's funny, Eric?
I had there was something something weird with my taxes a couple years ago, so I had to pay some interest.
Sure.
And the way that I had to pay the IRS, it feel like this. I would believe this. I would believe them that they would say no, you have to buy a MyCash card or you have to pay us in Bitcoin. It's so fucked up. With half these, you can't actually pay. You're not paying the government. You have to go through a third-party approved payment processor or whatever.
You're laundering your money first, so that it's clean when you give it to the government. They
apparently so.
That's awesome.
I look at this and I'm like, yeah, plausible. Entirely plausible.
Somewhere I have a screenshot I grabbed of what the... Hold on, I might have it right in front of me. Yeah, this is one of the first variants of... I don't think this was CryptoLocker. This was one of the other ones, though. Hang on, can I present? Do I have that ability?
Oh yeah, present away.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Green share up at the top.
Share button.
Just asking. There you go. So that's the one that I got. I didn't get hit with, but several of my customers got hit with.
Sure.
And yeah, you had to
Money Pack. That's what it was called.
Yep.
Nice.
Walmart, 7-Eleven, Walgreens, Rite Aid, Kmart, and CVS.
It's all legit at the top on legit Department of Justice letterhead for a web page.
Wait a second, Joey. Hold on. Possible violations are described below. What kind of clients do you have? Pornography involving children.
That's how they get you. Social
Well, keep in mind
that's the thing. This was a scareware.
Yeah,
There was no
the complaints aren't necessarily legit. They're just claims made by the ransomware just to get you to pay it.
Engineering.
To scare the shit out of you.
Yes.
With the worst thing it can possibly scare you with, that you're not going to go be like, hey, this thing said I had child porn on my computer. Is that, is this real or am I getting scammed? No one's going to ever go say that,
Right. And
Show
the
up
other
at the
thing
police
was
station
that
with your computer.
It did turn on the webcam, and it did take a picture of someone using this particular laptop, and it freaked them right out. I mean, freaked. I mean, like, you know. And of course, the picture never actually left the computer. It was just taken and then,
Oh yeah.
you know, shown on the screen.
Yeah.
But I mean, they had them freaking, and this was effective for all of the crap I give hackers. This was really and truly effective.
You know, there was a new one I saw going around in the old spam folder. I always like to check that out to see what new things are floating around out there. And this one said, it caught me or somebody driving on a toll road and you didn't pay the toll. So click this link and then you can enter your payment information, of course, to pay the toll. Of course, I had not been on a toll road or anywhere near a toll road, and of course there were multiple messages like that but some
I got that too.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yep, I got that one too.
Nice.
Yep.
I'm glad we're all receiving the same spam malware. Is it going to our email?
Great.
Eric, what is our email address that all of this spam malware can go to?
You can send your Viagra pills to show@attackoftheandroids.com.
I'm actually reading, is it Krebs? He wrote that book, Spam Nation. I'm reading that, and it's quite interesting about this whole Russian online pharmacy business. Apparently very lucrative.
I thought it was herbal Viagra.
There's all sorts of Viagra. We like the inorganic stuff. Check us out, attackoftheandroids.com. That's the site. We're on Stitcher. We're on iTunes. If you're on iTunes, leave us a review. We appreciate that, of course. You can send PayPal donations if you enjoy the show and want to pay for this baby, which it's a girl, by the way. Yeah. PayPal.me/MattLee. How about that? They are giving away PayPal.me addresses, so get over and get yours. And then, you go to PayPal.me/ and then you put in your name or whatever you want, and you'll have a sweet address that anyone can go to, paypal.me/MattLee. And then they made it even cooler if you put / and then put a number, that will fill in the donation amount on your next page, which is kind of cool. PayPal just making it easier to send money between friends. So, all right, thanks for listening, you guys, and we'll catch y'all next week. I won't be here next week. I'll be in Montana. But you guys might be. And if not, we'll just skip a week and be back the week after. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.